All right. So we got the playoff rankings coming up here in just a minute. And then we have the
check out all the tech on your list with great prices all
the
season
Duke
long.
Kansas game. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to call all of that game. We'll see. We'll see how. We'll see if I get tired or not. We'll see after the first half. We'll see if it's a blowout. I'm expecting a good game. I'm hoping it's a good game. And then if it is a blowout or if it's a good game, then I'll come back, see how much I can do this account. We'll see. I was hoping that that game didn't go into overtime. It's especially 2 overtimes, but it did. So here we are. But I'll be back in just a second. I gotta go get some.
It's a beautiful time for basketball. And the dynamic championship contenders, Celtics, Hawks, and Warriors, Suns, Wednesday.
Welcome back to College Football Playoff Top 25, presented by Chick-fil-A.
College football isn't just your next year game. You do everything you can to shrink that budget to as small as it can be. And just close this game until that number becomes the distance between a team and its great body. Every play, every yard, every victory matters. This edition of the Goals Attraction 25 to 1. Race between college football's to CBA. Welcome to the top 25 rankings.
We appreciate your patience. College Football Playoff Top 25. Reese Davis, Kirk Street, Joey Galloway, and David Collins here. Well, not much change going to be at the top. We don't think the rankings. We do a review. We'll take a look at this week's Verbo Team Spotlight. Couple of Pac-12 contenders on Saturday night. Oregon and UCLA knocked off at home. TCU won a defensive struggle. Eager to talk to Bruce Warren about how TCU winning that impacted the committee view on the fourth spot. Ranked number 4 in the country now, and what's the debate of the week? It's time down to show you the college football playoff.
All right, here we go. 21 through 25. Tulane, Oklahoma State, Oregon State, NC State, Cincinnati.
And Oregon State, we're looking at USC perhaps in there at number 23.
Yeah, I think it's fun to look at these rankings here at the bottom. You know, we talk about this every week, but it's a big deal for Cincinnati. It came up back, won a close one last week. Just to get up in the top 25, if Oregon State, Jonathan Smith is doing another Pac-12 team up there. So congrats to those teams. I will see if they can stay up there and keep climbing.
Body of work, David, Oklahoma State back in, and that was playing great. They've got that one coming up. Go to the next group of rankings.
16 through 20, UCLA, Washington, Notre Dame, Florida State, UCF.
And Notre Dame not finished, but they have everything go just right down the stretch. And in Pac-12 championship, and UCLA really worked itself with that loss against Arizona. They have the closing system. Let's keep on with the rankings.
Penn State, Oregon, North Carolina, Ole Miss, Kansas State.
They are on track to face TCU again in the Big 12 championship game. They had a big lead in that game in the regular season.
Yeah, it's an impressive win this past week. It is setting up for a showdown there at AT&T Stadium. And how about old Mac Brown, boys? Drake May up there in the top 13. They're the dream, boys. They're the dream. Potentially a heck of a showdown in Charlotte if they keep going with North Carolina and Clemson for the ACC championship.
And North Carolina is that one outlier team that is way down in the rankings that you have to evaluate the choice. They went out because I think state players which would be an updating ranked opponent, and then of course the ACC game. They just didn't have to play defense on the field and just play offense the whole time. I think they'd be a lot higher than they struggled on some stuff. Okay, so Penn State is 11, Oregon 12. That's a home loss against Washington. Well, let's look at number 10.
Utah is 10.
Utah is at Oregon too. They're trying to work their way into the Pac-12 championship game. They're up 3 spots. Almost like a lot of different things have to happen, but it feels like it could be Pac-12 semifinals this weekend. Utah, Oregon, SC. Yeah, it looked like a lot more fun before last weekend when Oregon went down, UCLA went down. And so those are still big games, but it really hurt the Pac-12 and their chances to get to the top 4. 1 spot ahead of the Ute, 9.
Clemson at 9.
Moves up the spot. Makes sense. Still a little bit back. You got teams 4 behind, so it wasn't necessarily an bunch of good win against a hot Oregon team on Saturday. I think that's where you can draw the line and start saying now everybody's got a chance to be in the college football playoff. I think 9 is the spot right there. You're on the line below Clemson. Correct. The line below Clemson, I think they pretty much have the playoffs. But now, I think all these teams, I'm not saying they're like having high percentage, but they're all still high. And North Carolina still high. And close. At number 8, half of the while, this has been a weird season. Number 8, Alabama moves up the spot after mistaking against Ole Miss. Now that would be the exception. That would be the exception, and I don't know why they're there. 2 losses on the last play of the game, and it's their better. I got 2 losses on the last play of the game. 5-5. And fair enough. I don't agree with that either. I think they should be buying Clemson. I don't mind them being in Clemson. I think that they're a better football team than Clemson. And I don't mind if they're, look at 2 losses. I don't think they're in a conversation with the playoff. But being like they're ready to have no problem. Okay, 18-25, as we've seen that now, Kirk Woodson reaction with the team football. Anything that surprised you, what stuck out?
Nothing really. I mean, like we were talking about as we were getting down into the top 15, there's some teams that stand out that are having great years, but everybody's tuned in right now after that lengthy double overtime game. I thought we might get a third overtime, but I think everybody's tuned in now just to see what's going to happen here with the top 6. I'm not really jumping up and down one way or another. Alabama lost on a last-second field goal in one of the most hostile environments in the country in Tennessee, and a 2-point conversion in overtime to LSU. So, I don't think you can really hold that. Those are 2 hard environments that went down to the last play.
I do think it might say something about where Clemson will be if they don't get the big at the end of the ACC champion with only 1 loss, how they have to regard them right now. Maybe they move ahead of Alabama, but there's a lot of confidence in them to hop over if that one's the case. We're going to start at the top now because I think it's a foregone conclusion. Everybody knows the number 1 team is still going to be Georgia. And it is. Georgia is 10-0 and number 1.
Georgia's 1.
Not much for to change. Why they're in top of the rankings. Number 2.
Ohio State.
Ohio State, understandably so. Buckeyes have Maryland this week. Michigan has Illinois. I assume I'm about to do Michigan number 3. And we are. They're trying their best to make this suspenseful. Well, I mean, they don't want, Michigan's 10-0 under Harbaugh for the first time. Yeah, that won't matter until Michigan plays Ohio State. He thought well, he thought one started to look better and better. That's well, and more communicates TCU hanging at number 4 after that road win at Texas 1-3. And they are. So there are the 4 undefeated teams all.
And the Frogs showed you something. I mean, the Frogs stoned Texas last week, especially defensively. And you talked about it.
That was a defensive game. That TC Texas game, that was defense.
Okay, Tennessee was bent on scoring until the very last second of the game against Missouri. Number 5, Paul. And it is. Tennessee only with the loss at Georgia and still in really good.
I think they're in a really good position because 6 and 7, one of those teams has to be LSU. Because they went on the road and blew out LSU, and also have one against Alabama, who's ranked number 8. So when we get to the end of this, Tennessee will not be in the SEC championship game, but because of that, they're in a really good spot once Ohio State Michigan plays better.
Okay, I want to set the stage at 67 before we reveal. 2 teams left, LSU and USC. LSU had some quality wins. In all candor, USC did not. I mean, they beat the ranked team. They scrapped by and got past Oregon State. Nothing of really upper echelon variety. But they only have 1 loss, a 2-point conversion, the end of the game, hostile environment against a really good team in Utah. Is it LSU or the USC at number 6? It is LSU. Not your Bengals. With the loss to Tennessee and also an opening night loss to Florida State, also ranked, by the way, in the Trojans at 9-1. So not much of a surprise in the issue at all with LSU and the 2 losses being ranked ahead of that state.
No, just because of what they've done, especially against Alabama and the way they played on the road in Florida, and then they backed it up in a game. You can say whatever you want. That was a tricky game for them to be able to get out of there. It was one of those survive and advance type games with an early kick against Arkansas. I think what's happening now is if we have clarity, the Ohio State-Michigan game is coming up next week, unless there's a major upset this week with Michigan and Illinois, or Ohio State and Maryland. The loser of that game, Tennessee, just sitting there waiting for the game. Whoever loses that game, if Tennessee keeps winning and looking the way they are, potential debate would be with the loser of the Ohio State-Michigan game with of course Tennessee. If Tennessee wins out, not going to Atlanta, and of course at least the wild card would be, if you want to throw that knuckle curve, it'd be LSU. If LSU were to win out, beat Georgia in the SEC championship game, of course they'd beat A&M. But if they were to beat Georgia, what would that do at that point? Is LSU in? Is Tennessee in? Georgia's in, so that would become a pretty interesting discussion.
I feel like at least
It sucks. As Alabama fan, it sucks because LSU got blown out. They were at home and they got blown out by Tennessee. And yes, they did beat us by 1. The only reason it sucks. Like it just sucks as an Alabama fan. We have 2 losses on the last play of the game. That's it. LSU has a blowout loss against Tennessee. They have a blowout loss against, they struggled against Florida State. He was 19. Like, I don't agree with the fact that yes, they did beat us. Yes, they are in Atlanta because they did beat Ole Miss and they did beat us. But the fact that there's so much love for LSU, even though they have a worse loss, in my opinion, than us. I don't know. I mean, I get it. Yeah, we have 2 losses and they beat us, but I mean,
Chick-fil-A impact play. Man, look at that dip under from Harold Perkins. 4 sacks, forced a couple of fumbles, almost forced another one before he ended up knocking the ball loose again. Late in the game, as Arkansas was trying to throw an upset drive. Man, what a dude Harold Perkins is, and because of that, LSU is ranked number 6. Boo Corrigan, who is the chair of the college football playoff selection committee, joins us now. Boo, thanks for doing this on double time here after the double overtime game. Let's when we talked about the committee evaluation of the Horned Frogs and whether they were a complete team. How did the evaluation, how was the evaluation impacted after they won a defensive game instead of just winning a wild offensive game?
Yeah, you're looking for improvement, right, during the course of the year, and for their defense to give up 3 points, obviously the other touchdown was a stupid score by Texas, but if you look at the whole package again, they continue to improve. They've earned the opportunity to be in the top 4, and we have that number 4.
What is the committee's evaluation of USC and its schedule and what they've accomplished up to this point relative to their strength schedule?
And they continue to win games. They have the one loss at Utah in a 2-point conversion of, I believe it's 43 points in a really emotional game, if you remember back to that game.
But
At Utah.
yeah, all right. Well, I hate to do this, but I guess I cannot. It's just really late. We still got another 10 minutes before the game starts. Yeah, I can't call this game just simply because of the stupid school night. My parents. Yeah, and I'm getting tired. So, no more stream tonight. I guess it stinks to say that, but of course, there's gonna be more basketball. We're gonna have more good games coming up.
Very similar. By Bengals have moved in 6 just about to go back to basketball.
College football player, top 25, is presented by
But
Chick-fil-A. Order a peppermint chip milkshake today. Available limited time.
I think that's gonna do it for now. I'm hoping to get another stream in before I leave on Friday.
You don't deserve to win. It's about 30 yards.
Yes, touchdown. It's college football, AT&T 5G.
I think that's gonna do it for now. I'll update you all on the story for upcoming streams. I'm hoping to stream on Thursday twice. I definitely should be able to call both games that night because of not being in a school night. So yeah, I think that's gonna do it for now. I'll see y'all later.